Assalamu Alaikum, family, peace and the blessings, and welcome back to the Lunar Al-Nura Podcast. Hope that all is well. Today, I wanted to talk about the garments of the MGT and GCC, because if you've ever seen someone in the Nation of Islam, specifically the women, wear garments, you may notice that they're a little different from anything that you may have ever seen before in your life. And I know a lot of people have a lot of questions and they just don't understand it. And today I just kind of wanted to bring some level of understanding to those who may not, understand why we wear the garments, what's the point, who made them, and all of that good stuff. So for starters, who designed the headpiece and the garments of the women in the Nation of Islam? Now, I am still figuring this one out. I know who made them, but I also don't want to steer you all in the wrong direction and say that the wrong person created these garments. So inshallah, God willing, in the future episode, I will confirm that 100% who was the designer of our headpieces and our garments. But for the time being, I am going to state that Master Fard Muhammad, who we believe God came in the person of, was the designer of our headpieces and our garments in the Nation of Islam for the women. And so that brings me into the next point that I wanted to talk about, which was why these garments were created. And they were honestly created for our protection, so that we can cover our adornments. And I'm going to get into what an adornment is a little later in our discussion. But really, the reason why we wear these garments is, one, to show that we no longer belong to this world. Is an act of declaration of independence. It is an act of declaration of our independence from this world's way of thinking, way of living, way of existing, thoughts, mindsets. And it just shows that we have a different king on the dome on our throne in our minds. We are really, it just shows that we are an independent people. We are an independent nation, because wherever you go to a different nation, there is a uniform that those people in that nation wear. It is something that they wear that you can affiliate them with, or every time you see them, you're like, oh, they're from such and such. That's why we wear our garments. That's why we wear our headpieces, to show that we are independent of anyone else, of any nation. We belong to the Nation of Islam, and also we are members of the army of the army of Allah in the Nation of Islam. So that's why we wear our uniforms. Just like the army of the U.S. Army, the Navy, they wear a uniform. We wear uniforms. So that's why we wear the garments. And I think I mentioned that it's a form of protection, our garments, because there has been scientific evidence done across the annals of history. I'm pretty sure this is I don't know, you just got to look it up. But when a man looks at a woman, there is something that goes on in their mind that just makes them go crazy. It makes them go wild. It makes them, want to go after whatever it is that they see, if it's a woman or when it's a woman, because that is in it is in their nature to be attracted to women. Of course, it takes a disciplined man. It takes a man who honestly has the spirit of God to not, act on those impulses, but it's in their nature to be attracted to women. And it's literally in a woman's nature to be attracted to men. It's that simple. But again, there's scientific evidence that backs this up. And that is one reason why we cover up. And of course, not just for their protection, but our protection, because this world is crazy. And I value myself so much. I value my adornment. And adornment is simply an ornament, something that is added to you, that beautifies you, that makes you more attractive. So for example, women's ornaments, our adornments, include our hair, our breasts, our backsides, things that attract us, that attract men to us. That is our adornments. So we cover those things. And I can speak for myself. I cover myself up because I know how valuable I am. And I know that not everybody deserves to see me. Not everyone deserves to see my hair. Not everyone deserves to see nothing on my body. because I don't even know you. You're not worthy of that. So that's me personally. And you'll find a lot of women in the nation, a lot of Muslim women actually, the reason for covering up is because, for our own protection. And then, of course, because Allah, God, in the Holy Quran, asks for women to cover their adornments. So we are not necessarily doing it primarily just to protect our men, but it's for ourselves, our own protection, and because Allah told us to do it. And, as Muslims, we are ones who submit our wills to do the will of Allah. And if it's in Allah's will for us to do that, then that's why we do it.